Every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind. All I think about, and I don't wanna stop.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the Real Zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode, another podcast of Conversation with Trent and Friends, featuring the Miss Lovely Coach D. We got a hot one tonight. We got a real hot one tonight. The man or woman that's okay with being alone won't need seat fillers. Let's bring Coach D in so we can dive right into this topic. Thank you guys for tuning in on the B2G Unity TV network. That's Butterfly Evolution and Taylor Kennedy Media combined for better TV together. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. One sec. Hey.
You're there.
How's it going?
I'm sorry, I'm in super spy mode. I have a black activist has recently died, and a white woman have had a page dedicated to harassing this woman, and they still are.
Oh.
So I'm going to do what I do.
I already know.
So I was looking at, so if I get distracted, I'm just checking out my other computer and seeing what it's finding. So
all good. So how's it going? Anything else? What's going on with in your world?
Oh, everything's going good in my world. I was doing some writing of my book because I have, I've been putting it off, and people have been emailing me asking me when it's coming out. So I need to get that done.
In a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Xavier got his new scooter today, because that boy, he's growing like a weed, man. I ordered him size 9 shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, so his shoes and age are the same now. Like,
well, he's a big boy.
Yeah, I took a picture with him. I'm like, he comes up to like here on me now.
Wow.
And I'm 5'8", so it's not like I'm short.
Wow. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, so
let's say hi to the folks real quick, and we'll dive right into this topic.
Sure. All right, so we just have Facebook. It just says Facebook user, so I can't tell who that is.
Hey, but Facebook user, identify yourself so we could actually address you properly. Thanks.
And / Grand Rising Melanated People, greetings to Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic. Good day,
What up,
Mr.
Slash? What up, Slash?
Are you going to behave tonight, sir? I'm in a feisty mood.
It's going to be a good one. It's a good one. The man or woman that's okay being alone won't need a seat filler. So I was thinking about this topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about how I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I walked away with, they really need someone to be around them constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being alone, but you have to make sure that you're okay with it and you've done the work to actually be alone effectively. You have to be confident, secure within yourself and your own abilities.
Some people are comfortable with themselves, though.
Yeah. Wait, one more time.
Some people are not comfortable with themselves.
That's what we're going to get into.
So it's Kathy.
Exactly. Here's the thing. For the gentleman, I'm gonna speak for the gentleman. You could actually talk on the lady being by herself and whatnot, what have you. But for the gentleman, the type of man that does not have a problem being alone, the type of man that has no problem being alone, won't have women problem. I guarantee he won't have women problems like that. If he's comfortable within himself, he's confident, he's secure within himself, he won't have women problems at all. And that doesn't mean that he has to be a, man all over town. It don't even call for that at all. He just won't have those type of problems at all. Not one bit.
Well, here's the thing. With women, it's a lot less work if once we get rid of some men. It's a lot less work in our lives and a lot more peace. So what happens is that peace is you have a momentous mountain to climb if you want to come into our lives, because you have to bring something into our lives other than penis. Because remember, if we're already taking care of ourselves and our children, our homes, our cars, we're doing all of that all by ourselves.
Right. And here's what will be surprising to folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what be some surprising to folks. When you think of a person being alone, or they're always by themselves or whatnot, the first thing people will say, that guy, she's depressed, he's depressed. Technically not.
No,
Technically
there's lots
not.
of depressed people who are married, but depression and being alone are not hand in hand.
One more time, there's a ton of depressed people that are married.
Yeah, depression and relationships are two totally different things.
Glad you brought that up.
A lot of people don't understand the peace and freedom that comes with being at peace with yourself.
Exactly. Here I saw an article from Esquire, right? Mm-hmm. Some men may be closer to friendships than their counterparts that are actually married. That's according to an article in Esquire.
Closer to friendships with how?
Closer to friendships as far as other than their counterparts, as far as the ones that are actually married. They find themselves more in a depressed state or having issues or anything like that, opposed to having a single guy. Opposed to being a single guy, you won't want to have those type of issues.
What, depression?
Not depression, just all the issues that come with and all the problems that come with marriage and being in a relationship. And
well, yeah, if you're not in a relationship, you're not going to have the problems with the relationship. That's just common sense, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize is once you've done the work, then your standards are raised. And I'm sorry to say, but out in the dating world, men think that bar is really low. And they can't even reach the bar.
Some men.
Listen, sir. I said in the dating world, you ain't leaving your living room, so we ain't talking about you.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
I talk to ladies all the time, and some of them are just looking for a decent human being, and that's rare. It's ridiculous.
But it goes both ways. That's why I wanted you to speak on the women, and I speak on the men, right? When you think about this, right? Think about this. That's me. Yeah, that's me. Think about this, right? For the gentleman, right? This is how we can actually avoid the transactional situations. We find ourselves in transactional situations. This is how we find it out. As far as some women, I'm going to say some women, they love those transactional guys, right? And most guys that are transactional are the guys that actually struggle with being alone. They struggle with being alone. I have a couple of close friends who struggle with being alone. And the relationships are transactional.
Yeah, because they use money.
Exactly. So this is where the upside to that of being alone and being comfortable with yourself and doing the work and continuing to use your personal chisel. You can save a ton of time and money and staying away from transactional situations by being comfortable with yourself or getting comfortable with yourself.
Right. But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I'll be honest. I'm 51. Mm-hmm. I'm not building anybody. Don't ask me like, don't you want to build? I'm sorry. If you're 51, then you should have been built.
Exactly.
I don't do DIY projects. And then I'll have guys go, well, you're too masculine. I'm like, no, masculine means responsible. If you cannot be responsible, if I'm more of a leader than you are, then you need to step it up. That's all there is to it. Yeah, there's such a. I went down the rabbit hole the other day. I need to stay off TikTok because it just makes me mad.
That's funny.
It's horrible. And there's these. I don't know who is talking to these men, and these are men in my generation, and I'm just like, sir, you're alone because you're an idiot,
right?
Not because women are horrible and everything. I listen to you for 2 minutes and I'm like, man, you need some therapy.
Right.
Like, so some of them really, I don't think they like women at all by the way they talk. I really honestly don't think they like women. They like the idea of a woman who is a servant, but they don't like the idea of a woman as a human being.
I got you. I get it.
Some of them are just, it's ridiculous. And then unfortunately, because those guys are usually the most forward and the most in your face, the nice guys who have done the work usually get tarred with the same brush because they get all this trash is piled up in front of them.
Pretty much. So let's get back to the single men, man.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about the single men who they may have a closer friendship than their committed counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole bunch of it. I have a few married friends who are very, very, very unhappy in their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Very unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, most thing, man, most men, all they want is peace.
Are they bringing peace though? I hear lots of men. I hear lots of men say they want peace, but they are not the peace.
How many times have you heard me speak on doing the work on yourself, doing the chisel, bring your chisel? You have to work toward that. In order to receive peace, you have to work toward peace within yourself.
Sir, you're preaching to the choir. You need to talk to the males out there, because they're not getting it.
That's what we're doing, D.
Yeah, but they're not getting it, sir.
Yeah, but it's not a one-sided thing here. That's why I said men and women, because there's a ton of women that's not comfortable with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have a whole bunch of these BBLs and all that shit going on. Let's be real.
And you can be comfortable with yourself and still want to make improvements. You can do a mommy makeover. Why not?
I don't get that. I really don't get that. Well, if a person's doing a BBL and what have you, they're unhappy with something with themselves.
Yeah, maybe that they just don't like that their behind is flat and they would like to have more curves.
I don't get that.
Well,
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it, but I'm not endorsing it either.
Yeah, but plastic surgery does not equal insecurity.
One more time for the people in the back that didn't hear you.
Plastic surgery does not equal insecurity. Just like wigs or eyelashes does not mean insecurity.
But
there are choices.
There is a choice. There is a choice. But at some point, you didn't like something about your body. That's why you changed it.
I wear wigs. I have gorgeous long hair because it's fun. We've had this discussion before. I have fake eyelashes in there too.
I mean, I get it with the eyelashes. I still stand 10 toes down on the BBL or whatever you call that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a deeper issue.
There's a difference between somebody getting BBL and somebody having extreme plastic surgery. Like you see, who was it I just saw the other day? There's one of the actresses, blonde. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she doesn't even look like herself anymore because she's had so much work done.
Right.
But you could have work done and still look like yourself.
I got you.
Yeah? And there is obsessions, and there should be some more control with plastic surgeons on mental health and work. But that's a whole other conversation.
I got you.
But yeah, just because somebody wants to get a little nip and a tuck and a little injection, that doesn't mean they're insecure.
Yeah. We'll agree to disagree on some of that. We'll agree to disagree on some of that.
That's right.
We'll agree to disagree on some of that. But let's talk about some men and women fill spaces because they struggle with being alone.
Yeah.
And why? Let's get to the why.
Why do people struggle being alone?
Yeah.
Lots of different things. The main reason is because being alone, you have to actually look at your stuff.
Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes.
That's what it is. When you're alone, there's no one else there's no one else to blame for stuff that's going on. It's all about choices that you've made and decisions that you've made, and you have to face up to what you've done. Because everybody likes to talk about, oh, my exes are crazy. If all of your exes are crazy, you're the common denominator.
Exactly.
Right? And that goes on either side. Right?
Exactly.
And
let's get to this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about this for a second. Most men, and this is actually a fact, because I've actually experienced this myself personally. Most men are more lonelier than women after a breakup. But here's the thing. Here's what separates a great man from just an average guy. A great man is able to shut that person out, shut people out, shut the opposite sex out, and walk about and deal with himself and continue on the course while he does the work on himself. He don't buy into the whole, I'm lonely for the night, let me get a seat filler. That's what he or she, that's an actual fact. You have to work on yourself after a breakup. Before I acquired the tools, I was bleeding on everyone. Every woman that ran across my path.
That's because by the time a woman has left you, she has already emotionally left you before that.
Probably for somebody else as well. Yeah. I get it.
No, they're not with anybody else. We will give you a gazillion chances until you've screwed it up so badly that we're done. And once a woman is done, that means she is emotionally finished and she moves on. That's why when women leave, they glow up.
Yeah, but male and female, they have a problem with being alone, especially after a breakup.
I think that's
male and female.
I think culturally it's different because their girlfriends will come around and we will assist through a breakup. I'm a girl. I know we do this. This is what we do. Men, I don't know what y'all do.
Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. I get it. I get some women, because I know a ton of guys who make horrible mistakes, me included, in my past experiences after a breakup. And I've had so much roadkill on this road called life by dealing with other women after breakup. Before I acquired the tools to move on and deal with myself, I was bleeding on every single woman I encountered.
Oh yeah, that's what most people do until they do the work. Until they realize that they're the common denominator.
Exactly.
So it's a lot easier once you've done the work to see the red flags in other people.
Exactly. And another thing, man, when you think about it, you shouldn't want a man that needs you. You shouldn't want a man that's always needing you to be around. And that goes both ways. He shouldn't want a woman that always needs him to be around. How about you liking yourself? If you don't like yourself, how you expect me to like you? To be around?
It depends though on what their love language is. And so there's a difference between a bad attachment where there's codependency and people that communicate on a regular basis.
Right.
So if somebody has to have somebody around and there's an issue if they're not, that looks at like a codependent relationship and that's not healthy. Right. So, but just wanting to be like, you can be in the same room and doing different things and that's still healthy. That's healthy.
When you think about it, though, if you don't like being around yourself, why would I want to be around
you? True.
Why would I want to deal with that?
Did Sash say, did someone out here in the dating world, hello, relationships or relations isn't about what? I don't read emotion. Leading to a lot of transactions and battering, showing their highlights on social media. Yeah, social media is all about dopamine and getting likes.
Pretty much.
If you see it on social media, that it's a picture. Doesn't mean anything. Look at who was it that wrote the book? Rachel Hollis wrote the book Wash Your Face.
Right.
While she was divorcing her husband, and then came out a book about after the divorce. And then when people called her out,
there's a ton of guys. Got to be fair. Got to keep it real. There's a ton of guys who subscribe to that, man, into that whole transactional thing, because of loneliness, because they need to see filler. There's a ton of guys that subscribe to that stuff. But when you get to no thank you guys, no thank you, man. Put some clothes on. And he's called an asshole, all the stuff. So a guy that loves to be alone, it doesn't equal asshole. It equals for me.
Some of them the love to be alone is also a red flag.
Do tell, go ahead.
Because sometimes if you are so in love with being alone that you're pushing other people away? Why is that?
In some cases, I see where you're going with that. In some cases, yes. In others, when you've evolved in life, when you've gone to that second realm in life, you just don't want to. You don't have time for bullshit. You don't want to. Deal with the foolishness. You will not entertain that and enter that into your vortex.
Yeah, but if you're so evolved, then that will not come into your vortex.
Exactly.
But you have to.
Exactly.
But it's nothing's going to come into your vortex if you don't leave your house.
I totally get that, but I totally get what you're saying. But this is where we'll agree to disagree again.
Mm.
This is where we agree to disagree. Because a man that actually enjoys being alone will not chase. It'll come to him. Let's not confuse the two. Let's not confuse the two.
Listen.
A man who enjoys his own company will not chase at all.
You know what? I honestly am getting tired of men thinking that this amazing prize because y'all are work.
It's not about the
you all
prize.
work.
It's not about it's not about being the prize.
Just because you don't chase and she'll come to me, like, dude.
Listen to me though. Listen. I feel like a little Spanish kid. Listen, Linda. Listen. Nah, but listen. A man that enjoys himself, enjoys being alone. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with enjoying being alone.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. That means that he enjoys his own company.
Yeah, just like the Unabomber. He enjoyed his own company too.
Are you comparing me to the Unabomber?
The Unabomber never went outside. He liked being alone. He was happy.
Nah, but I truly believe that the man who enjoys his own company goes a little further than the average guy who's actually making transactional actions to try and get him to come to the house.
But there's a fine line with enjoying your own company and becoming a hermit.
So enjoying your own company, you mean you're a hermit?
No, I said there's a fine line.
Yeah, there is a fine line.
Your own company,
especially if you haven't done the work. There is a fine line if you haven't done the work. There is a fine line.
Yep, I'm just making sure. There's a comment from Slash.
What up, Slash?
I already read that. Never mind. We're good. All right. Yeah, so here's the thing. There's so many, like, I was looking at different advice, different relationships were giving.
Right.
And oh my God, I have never heard so much bad advice in my life. So then I had to start Googling people. And I'm like, man, how are you 22 and giving relationship advice?
Right.
And you've your whole life is out on social media.
These people out here, man, they're running around out here reckless. They're running around out here. They're reckless.
It's crazy.
They're running around out here reckless, period. They're running around reckless. But let me ask you a question real quick, right?
Sure.
Let me ask you a question. So when a guy says that, I want you, but I don't need you, why do women get offended by that? I'd like you around, but I really don't need you. That's not a need for me.
What women are getting offended by that?
A lot of women will got offended by that. When I say that, right? I want you, but I don't need you. I don't have to have you.
Yeah, women aren't getting offended by that. Not that I know of.
I don't have to have you. You know, that's a want. Wanting to be with that woman, that's a want. It's not a need. But this is where guys get caught up. Go ahead.
I would think it depends on how they're looking, how it's being said to them. Right?
Do tell.
So if you're saying, like, I want you, but I don't need you, like you have you in my life type thing, right? Versus somebody is looking somebody up and down, go, yeah, I want you, but I don't need you.
Right. Not like that. Yeah. How I'm saying this is how I'm saying this. I want you, but I really don't need you. I mean, I don't have to be in your space 24/7. I don't have to be in your face every single hour of the day, and every single millisecond of the day. I don't need you around me like that.
Yeah, I think it has.
You don't need me around like that.
Yeah, I think there would be a deeper conversation there. Yeah, because I was talking to one woman. She's been dating this guy for like 3 weeks.
Right.
And he called her up and told her, asked her if she could make his doctor and dentist appointments for him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why would I do that? He goes, well, that's wifey duties. He's like, I ain't your wife, I ain't your girlfriend. Like, Like, that is the weirdest ask I've ever heard. Like, I've heard some weird things, but like to call somebody who's basically a total stranger and then start making your appointments for them, like she's your secretary, that was the weirdest thing. And that's those are the guys that are out there. It's crazy. Like, they literally need somebody to do things for them because they're incapable of doing them themselves. It's ridiculous.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Because I know me, right?
Mm.
And for me, I enjoy my own space. I enjoy me. I enjoy my own company. I do not need you up in my space 24 hours a day at all. I don't have to have you. I don't have to have that warm body in bed. I don't need that sea filler every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable in my own skin, in my own house, with my own things. I see you on the weekend.
So Slash says, social media is a show place for any and all things, where some women advertising the skimpiest of the skimpiest, looking for generous male or female or both, with their DMs open like Highway 90 going west.
He's right, though. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, we're not going to shame people for being free with themselves.
We're not shaming them. We're not shaming them, but at some point, raise the bar. At some point, raise the bar.
At what point do you realize because somebody's wearing a skimpy outfit, it means their bar is not high?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But here's the thing: for a minute, let me speak from a man's perspective, right?
Oh Lord, you've never been. Have you ever been to Carnival?
You know I have. What are you talking about?
Like Carnival in Rio or Caravana in Toronto.
Yeah.
There's lots of skimpy clothes, and some of those people are the most.
That's their culture. That's their culture, though. That's their culture.
That is our cultural, sir. Women are topless. If we go back to the, I get it. If we go back to the motherland.
I used to go to Trinidad all the time. I get it. I get that. I totally get that. But I think what Slash is talking about, what he's talking about, you get these girls shaking for likes and doing all that type of craziness for likes. But honestly, there's a double-edged sword to that because you're making money off of that. You're making money as well, which is a good thing, which is a great thing. But have some tact with it, in my opinion. If you're going to do it, have a little tact with it. But those type of women are not able to do that if you don't get these transactional guys who's afraid to be alone.
Please, I have seen more church going. There's plenty of deacons and priests and bishops and
bishops also have afraid to be alone as well now. Priests and everybody else, high priests and all.
Women, men like to talk about women in skimpy clothes and twerking and doing all this stuff.
See, that doesn't bother me. But here's my thing. I'm that guy that doesn't bother me. But I'm the guy that say, hey man, you know what? Excuse me, that's not for me. Thank you.
If it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't go around shaming people who are.
No, there's nothing wrong. Don't shame them. I don't subscribe to the whole shaming women. I don't do that. But I'm okay with saying, hey man, that's not for me. That's not for me. That doesn't make me an asshole. That doesn't make me a bad guy. That means that I'm comfortable with myself and I'm good. We will not have a transaction tonight.
Yeah, it's fine. Here's the thing. A lot of people, and I find this is it's a very American thing.
Right.
That they like to look, but on one hand, they like to look, and the other hand, they're like, oh my God, don't do that. Like, it's very prudish. Like, you go to a beach and people are telling women to cover up on beaches. On beaches! Like, it's ridiculous. You see less clothing in a Victoria's Secret catalog. But if somebody's got a thong on a beach, then they're a horrible person. It's, everything is so subjective, but I find the longer I'm here, the more annoying this prudism gets. Like, people try to put women in these tiny little boxes, try to steal their human rights away from them. Right. And be like, well, you know what? Well, if you didn't dress like that, if you didn't move like that, then people wouldn't talk to you. Like, how about people not talk to people regardless of what they're wearing?
Yeah, it's easy to say no, thank you. Like, I'm not going to sit there and body shame them and do anything like that. So it's easy to say no, thanks, man. If you say no, thank you, I guarantee they'll stop right away. I'm good.
Stop what?
Oh, I'm just telling, hey, I'm good. No, I'm good.
All right. Slash says transactional relationships have been the thing of the present day because being alone has cost. Being someone's company can be bartered for. Let's not forget lonely fans without the L and the E.
True.
OnlyFans, people are making lots of money. Yeah, I find people get upset when people are free with their bodies, with who they are, because you have to have a whole lot of confidence and a whole lot of security in who you are in order to do some of these things.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But let's get back to the transactional thing. I get that. I'm trying to get these guys from getting away from this transactional stuff, right? The man who enjoys his own company, that's a strength. That's a superpower. And the man who actually enjoy it and really enjoy it, he knows that.
Well, the only way you're going to get away from transactional relationships is to remove the patriarchy from them. Women were property. Some men still think women are property.
Yeah,
and then they talk about, well, I'm the alpha male, I'm going to lead. But here's the thing. If you are the alpha male and you're going to lead, then you, the alpha male, the leader, pay for everything. So here's what I have some good friends. I just found this out. A good friend of mine is Muslim. I was talking to his wife, and she had paid all her student loans off. I was like, oh, that's fabulous. That's great. She's like, yeah, now I'm going to pay his student loans off. I'm like, well, that's wonderful. And then he said, all her money is her money. I am the man. I pay for everything. She's doing it by choice. And then he told me it was haram. If somebody's Muslim, they can click up for him to take any of his wife's money. I'm like, well, damn. All these good old Christians there. And then he's like, it's in the Bible too. I'm like, oh, don't make me look that up. Because it's all about transactions. Relationships, marriage has been transactional since the beginning of time.
I totally agree.
And until we remove the transaction away from it and stop making this whole I'm the boss, I'm the leader, and make it equal partnerships, it's never going to stop being transactional.
Yeah. I still say that transactional thing is actually connected to the guy who struggles with being alone.
No, I know plenty of strong guys who have done all the work who still get caught up in it because that's what society deems.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna get. I mean, I've gotten caught up like that before, several times. I've gotten caught up with that, but once I evolved, I left all foolishness behind. All foolishness is not on the radar. Once you do the work, once you continue using your chisel, your personal chisel, you're not going to even entertain that. You won't even allow it into your space.
You don't allow anything into your space, sir.
No, I don't.
So I don't know why you talk about that.
No, I don't. I really don't. I'm
going to call your coach up and tell them they need to coach you some more about some things.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Tonight is not about Trent. Trent
should stop talking about himself then.
Good stuff.
Here's the thing. Because society has put so many, this is what you do on relationships. Everything is transactional. And until you remove that away from it, you don't get any equality. You don't get true partnerships.
Right.
Right? But that takes communication. Because how many times have you heard people, well, when I come home, my wife's been home all day. I'm like, yeah, if you were to pay a stay-at-home mom what she is worth for all that she does, her salary would be $183,000. And people don't realize how much goes into that, raising children and all that stuff.
Let's talk about the needy woman, right? Let's talk about the needy
woman.
Let's talk about hold on a second. There's a twist to this. Let's talk about the needy woman and the guys that are attracted to the needy woman.
Oh, the damsel in distress?
Exactly. Let's talk about that for a second. The needy woman, for me, personally, it's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. But there are guys that enjoy being with a needy woman.
Oh,
the woman that always has her hands out like cups.
Men will fall not most men will fall all over the damsel in distress. If I go to Lowe's, I know everything I need to know, but if I go to Lowe's, I'm like, I just don't know which thing I need. Can you help me? Bat my eyelashes, put some lip gloss on. I could have 10 guys help me find what I need to know, knowing full well I know exactly
And I
everything in that
guarantee
store.
you, all those guys struggle with being alone.
No,
I've never been the one to fumble over another brother trying to get to a woman.
listen, man.
I don't get it. I'm just sorry. I don't get it. I'm not
Yo,
being an asshole. I'm just saying I just don't get it. I don't get that part. I'm not gonna stumble over Mark to go get the other woman. Nah.
sir, you're from the South. You were the ones who bred and made women damsels in distress. The whole Southern Belle. I don't even know why you're trying to play me right now.
What are you talking about?
Don't even start. My dad's
We just
divorced
Southern
too.
gentlemen
Don't
over
even
here. We
know.
Southern gentlemen on this side.
You're a Southern gentleman trying to pretend you don't fall for dated damsels in distress, please.
We're Southern gentlemen over here. That's all.
I would get you to open jars, even though I knew I could do it myself, sir.
I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah, that's a damsel in distress. Just you don't know it. You fall for it.
I got
Mm-hmm.
you. I got you. I got
What
you.
is slash gonna come in and save you? A critique.
What he say?
Critique is not shaming nor hating. We said it recently. Men can have standards too. I respect pole dancers, but just because I'm there for the wings,
For
don't
the
mean I'm there
wings.
to
The
throw
wings.
some dead peas on them. You don't go to a strip joint for wings, sir.
Hey, some of those places have some great wings.
Yeah, sure.
That's a garlic parmesan ranch.
Yeah, they're really known for their restaurants. I've never heard of a strip joint that was known for the food.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's so funny.
And you know what? Pole dancing is a lot of work. When those girls are doing that, is a workout. I don't, I have great respect for them because they
So
have
let's
to put
get
up
to
with some of the.
let's dig a little deeper on the needy woman and the man who actually feels the need to always be there for the needy woman. Like it does something for him. It boosts his ego. Talk
You mean
about that a
like
little
the
bit.
so-called alpha male who needs
Yeah,
the
let's talk
damsel in
about it.
distress?
Those type of guys struggle with being alone.
They have insecurities.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I call it little D energy.
Because let me say, that's a red flag for a guy. That's a red flag. If I see another brother who's always looking for the needy one,
Yeah,
something's wrong with him. If he's always looking for that needy woman, or that woman, he gets his chest gets poked out a little higher
it's
when she call him
control.
and need him, something's wrong there.
It's a control issue. They need to
Exactly.
feel like they can control somebody. That's why when you talk about these guys who, I need a woman who's under 30 because they haven't been jaded. I'm like, no, you need a woman who's under 30 so she can be manipulated.
So what about these women that bring up all these preferences?
Let me preface
Doesn't
this.
that apply the same way?
Men and women should have preferences.
I get it, but I mean, if a guy, well, go back and repeat what you just said.
About which,
Well, with the guy who said you said right before that, right before I said that.
sir,
What did you say?
I don't memorize everything I say. I just off the top of my tongue. The guy who the guy who needs to somebody young so they can control them and manipulate them.
Yes, he says it's something you said before that, but we'll get
Oh,
back to it.
little D energy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it is because it's if you need somebody that you can control and manipulate, there's something going on. Why do you need to control? Why is somebody who is equally competent as you?
I mean, we both know that's connected to some type of insecurity and
Oh yeah, most of the time it's trauma.
right.
There's some trauma going on that they need to control because it's when you look at people who are in positions of power, the first thing they try to do is give up some power,
I get it.
right? So
Totally get it.
that's why when you see people like, oh, like they showed their newest target is, who is Rihanna and Offset? Is it?
I don't even watch that foolishness. I
I
really don't.
anyway, Rihanna's on the Vogue cover, and I love Rihanna because she has an unbothered attitude, so I love
Right,
that.
right.
So they're on the cover, and these guys, so called alpha males, did a complete takedown saying that she's masculine and he has a soft face and I'm like, boys, that woman is worth $1.4 billion. She is not caring about what you have to say about her. And if you say Rihanna is masculine, you don't know what a woman is.
I get irritated with these whole internet trolls
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be critics.
Mm-hmm.
I get irritated with those type of folks. I don't even entertain that type of stuff. I don't get into the whole thing of, oh, the way she sung on the Super Bowl. I don't get into that bullshit. Oh, is she pregnant? Who cares? That's her life.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
cares?
people care because people like to tear down people they think are better than them
Yeah, I
to
don't
make
get it.
themselves feel better.
And I don't get that.
You'll see it all the time. You'll see it in um, if you go into a lot of political groups.
Yeah.
And you'll pay attention to what people will vote against their own best interests if they think it makes them look better than somebody else.
Exactly. They'll go with the crowd. They'll go with the
Yeah.
majority of the folks. They will. They could be going down a rabbit hole, but everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
subscribe to that bullshit.
And people don't like outliers. I get
Right.
that a lot because people are like, "Well, you say this and this and this." I'm like, "Yeah, and
Exactly.
how is it
That's
affecting
something
your life?"
I've never been that type of guy to go with the crowd. I've
Mm-hmm.
always gone against. I've always swam with the stream.
Against the stream.
Against it. I've always went against the stream.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah, I get it.
went the same way. I've never gone the
Okay.
same way.
No, I get. No, it's it's harder to not follow the path that everyone else is laying out because
For me,
that's
honestly, to be honest with you, it's not hard for me not to follow someone else's path.
growing up though. When now because you've done the work, it's not.
Not even as a kid. Even as a kid, I've never been the guy who actually follow and do what my friends are doing.
Mm.
I'm always carving something out for myself. I've never followed that path. I've never felt comfortable following what somebody else is doing.
Yeah, but you're the exception, not the rule, sir. Right?
Appreciate that.
So we're talking about the rule that
But I appreciate
it's
that. Go ahead.
harder. Yeah,
I got
it's
you.
harder to be to not follow the path of others.
I got
Like
you.
I have a young leader that I'm raising.
Exactly.
And I see him and he's very polite, but there's friends that he will not play with anymore because they can be very bossy.
Exactly. I was interviewing some folks about this topic tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I called one of my homegirls and we're talking about the whole alone thing because her current situation now is she's divorced, she's
Right.
single, she's by herself, and she moved to a whole nother state.
Okay.
And so we're talking and whatnot. So she got to talking about some of her friends, who's actually soon to become former friends. When I told her, they're going to be former friends, right?
Hmm.
So her friends are talking about how they don't see her around anymore. She don't come around. They don't do
Yeah.
the party because she's evolved at this point.
Yeah, you outgrow people.
That's exactly what I told her. I was like,
Yeah.
you've outgrown these people, right? It's okay. It's okay to outgrow folks, though, man.
Right.
But a lot of folks, the moment you evolve, the moment you go to the next realm,
They'll
oh,
try to
Trent's
tear you
being an
down.
asshole. Oh,
Hmm.
D's being an asshole. Oh, she's
Yeah.
so mean. No,
Yeah.
it's not. I've evolved. You cannot go where I'm going.
Right.
It's simple. Simple. But people don't get that. You cannot go where I'm going
Yeah.
at all. I've
And a lot of
evolved. I've moved on.
and a lot of people don't realize that you were trying to bring them along with you. And
Only time for the people in the back.
yeah, when you look back, a lot of times you were trying to bring them with you, like because you were sharing what you were doing, you're sharing what you're thinking, and all this stuff, and eventually you stop sharing with them because they either they denigrate it, they make fun of it, they tell you
Right.
it's not a good idea, all this stuff.
But here's the thing, man, and this is one of the greatest things about being in tune with yourself and acquiring the tools before you actually move on to your purposeful life. You have to have great discernment when you're dealing with folks, because some of those people, they may mean well in the beginning, but they may be brought on for distraction. They don't even know that they're being a distraction.
Hmm.
You have to be careful with that. And you have to have great discernment when you're dealing with folks when you're on your path, man. So you can bring these people and place these people in your car. They're flattening the tires unconsciously. They don't even know they're flattening the tires.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's up to you, the individual, to actually deal with that and
Yeah.
know exactly who you're placing in your car.
Well, oftentimes your greatest supporters are the ones who are not close to you. Like
Absolutely.
when people start a business or something, it takes $0 to share that business.
Absolutely.
Right? $0. I will silently purchase items from somebody's business without
Right.
telling them. And then
Right.
they'll get the order and they're like, why didn't you tell me I would give you a deal? I'm like, I don't want a deal. I want to pay what everybody else is paying.
Right.
It's a business. And so if you're starting a business and that friend is not sharing it, that's not a friend.
Exactly. And this is
Not
why
'cause
we
you-
need to understand, you have to know when you're evolving, you have to know that you're evolving. You have to be in tune with yourself. And this goes to tie this into this topic. This is why you will be okay being alone, because you've already have acquired the tools and understand and know that, hey, it's okay to be alone. And my friends are going to be okay with me being alone.
Right.
They'll just call me, hey, this is not Trent's week. We'll call him next week.
Yeah.
Like, people look at us, right, on this podcast weekly, twice a week. They would think we're chatting it up on the phone for hours.
No.
Not.
They're ready to
Not.
break everybody's bubble.
Exactly. Not. And to be honest with you, I just sent Dee the link 20 minutes before show.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to her all week because we both enjoy being alone.
Yeah.
We have things to do.
Yeah. And I would have told you I don't have time today because today we had to go buy Pokemon cards and we had a birthday party and we were trying out a new scooter. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that there comes a time in your life where some friends you've had for 20 years may disappear and new friends may come into your lives that may be the friend that you carry on. Like, I have some friends I've known for 30 years who if they called me up, I would move a body for them, no questions asked. And I have some other friends I've known for 5 years that they're an acquaintance. They're in the acquaintance category. Right. So
it's like we had a couple companies in there.
What's that? Oh, sorry. Oh, that's Slash. Lemon Pepper Lou's at Magic City Strip Club Culture is a new nightclub. Both men and women frequent Magic City Mondays. Once again, it's a transactional relationship with start enders and e-dancers.
Magic City over in Atlanta.
Businessmen transacting pay dates for work dinner. Single business women contracting pay dates for arm candy. Massages with happy endings. The GFE and call dates in an effort to give the look for work. What's GFE?
I have no idea. You know, I'm kind of green.
And massages with happy endings are illegal, sir.
Oh, Slash.
Even I, in my closed bubble world, know what those are. But here's the thing: I'm glad to see the culture around strip clubs is changing. You know, we need to have some respect for those dancers who are working their behinds off in those 5, 6, 7-inch heels.
Right.
You know, all the power to them. I know I can't do it. Even on my best day, I don't have Megan knees anymore. Lordy, 7-inch heels? No.
Would you say Megan knees?
Megan knees back in the day, but now
what's the Megan knee?
Megan the Stallion.
Oh, the rapper girl.
I don't know if she raps. Probably, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, all the power to them. You know, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Have at her. I think the female body is a lot prettier than the male body. Let's just put it that way.
I got you. So when I wrote the topic up, I don't want people. Well, honestly, I don't really care what they think. But anyway,
I was like, "Where?" Go.
I really don't. But the man that's okay with being alone won't need a seat filler. Meaning, when I wrote that up, I want honestly, I wanted to reach one person who I was having a conversation with, and I know this brother struggles with being alone. I talk to him daily. I know he struggles with being alone because what he accepts in his life.
Yeah.
What he accepts. And it's not okay. It's not okay. It's okay to be alone. It's fine. You just have to sustain yourself and deal with it, man, until you can do
Is
better.
he
But
doing the work?
no, he's not. Unfortunately, he's not.
If you're not doing the work, then you're not going to be able to raise your
He's
standards.
not. He's not. I believe that you have to raise the bar
Mm-hmm.
and not lower the bar.
Yeah, because some people have their bars underground.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like,
and let me tell you something, man. This guy's a high quality guy, a high value guy. Real talk. But his insecurities make him on 2. He's still on level 2.
We need to get a therapist.
But it's okay to be alone. It's fine to be alone.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being alone as long as you're not choosing that every time to avoid
exactly. I totally agree with you. I know exactly where you're going with that. So it's definitely okay to be alone at a certain extent, as far as if it's not hurting you and others. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy. Yeah. It's still healthy to have a good bit amount of alone time. It's healthy, real healthy. That's the only way you center yourself.
Yeah. But as human beings, we still do need human interaction.
We do need human interaction and all that stuff. It has to be a great balance.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a great balance. But I believe in centering myself every single week. I truly believe in that. I do it every Thursday. Every Thursday. Yeah. The reason why I choose Thursday is toward the end of the week and the beginning of the week. Right. It's closer to, what I'm saying? It's right there in the middle for me. But it's okay to be alone. You just have to stay out of your head when you're alone.
You have to stay out of your head. You have to ignore what society is telling you about being alone.
One more time. That was deep.
Yeah, ignore what society is telling you about being alone.
You have to.
Because too often society will tell women in particular that if you're alone, that you're washed up, you're no good, you have no value.
Exactly. Right? And this is why I alluded to that in the beginning of the broadcast, right? After a breakup, it's a must that you're intentional. You be intentional about separating yourself from everyone. Be intentional about
it. You can heal without separating yourself.
Yeah, you can, but for some people, you need that time alone because you need to deal with yourself first.
Yeah.
You don't need no outside interference when you're actually getting over something or getting over a breakup or getting over whatever. You don't need outside. Sometimes you really don't need outside interference.
That's very person specific, though.
I agree.
Because some people would, if they're undergoing a breakup, that's the last time they need to be alone.
I agree.
Because for some people, that would be cause more harm. But here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. No matter how you deal with a breakup, you need to deal with it. You have to heal from it before you move on. Because everybody's like, the best way to get over a man to get on another one. No.
Collecting souls will not get it. You have to separate yourself. You cannot be out here collecting all these souls and bleeding on those souls, so they bleeding on other people as well.
Yeah.
When they leave you.
Yeah, because it's you don't want to go from one bad relationship to another. And if you don't heal, that's what you're going to do. And like, what did I say a couple of months ago? People will choose to change their partners versus changing themselves because it's easier.
I see a lot of that these days. They'll rather change the partner than fix the problem within themselves.
Yeah.
I see a ton of that these days.
Yeah, and those same people are usually going to blame all my exes were crazy.
Exactly.
Okay? So all your exes are crazy, unless there's abusive situations, because that's a whole different situation. Because
once we get to the point where we start calling ourselves out and saying, "Hey, you know what? They're not the only toxic people in the room."
No, yeah.
We all come with some toxic traits, man. We just have to be mature enough to mouth it. We have to be mature enough to say, "Hey, my bad. That's me. That's my toxic trait."
And if somebody says they're not toxic and they're elevated and they're enlightened, run.
Exactly.
Because that's a red flag.
Exactly.
There has no one yet who has elevated themselves beyond humanity to the point where they don't have any toxic traits.
Exactly. One of my toxic traits is actually going ghost, period, for months at a time. That's a toxic trait, and I know it's a toxic trait.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get like that. I just disappear. Like, I'm good.
I'm a July Cancer. I can hold a grudge with the best of them. But my problem is I have some special skills that I can track. Like, I'm not the person to piss off because I will get so far up in your life.
Do tell.
I will know what you ate for kindergarten lunch by the time I'm done.
So we got about 3 minutes here. We'll get to some announcements real quick.
Okay.
And we'll close out. Let's get
Can I do the last comment Slash has up there?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. He's got two. To also not appear to look like a lonely third wheeler or analytical, to not give the perception that they aren't people persons. GFE equals the girlfriend experience. I first saw the GFE equals the girlfriend experience. I first saw the massage with happy endings when were first shown on Sex and the City, if I can recall. There's a little listing for every city for massage with a twist. Legal, schmiegel, it goes down. Transactional. Society respects a lifelong bachelor. It's frowned upon towards a woman being single and without a child. A man is considered a lone wolf and a ticking time bomb. Now, I think there's a difference between the ticking time bomb and the lone wolf, because there's men who are the distinguished bachelor, and then you got the crazy Unabomber guy. They're two very different situations.
Right. I get it.
All right, still the announcements.
Gotcha. So the announcement on Tuesday, I'll be over on Tammy's side of things on the B2G Unity Network side on Tuesday, I think at 7:15. I think the title of that show she's speaking on, Where's Cupid? The show's about all these guys bringing the flowers, all these guys bringing candy, all these guys down there. They showed up a little bit, but now they're gone. We're going to talk about that. Where's Cupid? It's on Tammy's live. Tammy, I think it's 7:15, I believe. I'll be co-hosting over there with her on Tuesday, 7:15. Where's Cupid? Right here on B2G Unity TV.
Cupid. Interesting.
Where's Cupid? Yep, where's Cupid? That is so funny. So what's your teachable moment, D?
About being alone?
Yeah.
My teachable moment for being alone is, if you are secure with yourself, don't get wound up in what society says about it, and take your time to figure out what your preferences are and what your standards are and what your boundaries are, and heal from whatever you had before you move on. Exactly. So that you can find the love that you deserve.
Exactly. My teachable moment is embracing alone and enjoying your own company is your strength and a superpower at the same time, all wrapped into one. So you have to understand that and acquire the tools and constantly use your personal chisel, and it gets you to that point. If you're not at that point, you could actually get there by picking up your chisel, working on yourself and dealing with yourself, but you're going to need some time alone before you do that.
And then once you have done that time alone, then you can look for your Gomez to your Morticia. Because I just adore how he treats her. It's like
good stuff.
All right. Well, it has been a lovely evening. I actually have a day off tomorrow with Mr. Mann, so we can go try out that new scooter of his.
Good stuff.
Yep. So I hope you all have a wonderful week.
We'll definitely talk on
any ideas for Wednesday?
I know, whatever you come up with, we roll with it.
All right. I don't think I'm feeling spicy today, so see what happens once I get on the other computer.
It's all good. So until Wednesday, because it's actually Fat Tuesdays coming up here. The city's actually in chaos over on this thing because Mardi Gras and all that stuff. So they party.
Yeah.
They party.
Is that this week already? Oh my God.
Yeah. So Fat Tuesday's on Tuesday. Fat Tuesday's on Tuesday.
Ash Wednesday's on Wednesday. Oh.
Exactly. So all you guys in the New Orleans area who's tuned into us, you guys stay safe out there, be safe out there, and don't get too drunk out here. But you guys stay safe. For all the other folks across the country, over in Haiti and all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, Dee and I really appreciate it. We see you guys. We notice the love and appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. See you guys until Wednesday. You guys be epic.
Good night.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.